Lindsey Graham is dead. Mitch McConnell is laid up in a hospital bed somewhere attached to puppet strings like it's the weekend at Bernie's.
On behalf of all my battle buddies who suffer at the hands of Lindsey Graham, you voted for the war in freaking Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm a very angry war veteran.
Yes, this is a smile on my face. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I mean, God, we was talking about Mitch and wigs, but you know what? A win is a win. Y'all, death is working overtime. Lindsey Graham is gone. The turtle is probably out of here. We got one more. One more. Go for the big one. Go for the big one that we've been waiting for so we can see that big, beautiful obituary.
Good morning. Good morning. Especially to those who from or currently live in South Carolina. You know, today is a good day.
There are definitely two sugar babies in South Carolina and Washington, D.C. Really sad today that their sugar daddy, Lindsey Graham, has passed away.
And Dookie Booty is online talking about it. He said, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, is dead.
The moment a politician dies, something strange happens. Overnight, people stop talking about who they were, and they start talking about who they wish they were. Here's my problem. Respect the dead if you want to, but don't rewrite history. And while
you should know, I did not like Lindsey Graham at all. I thought he was one of the main mouthpieces contributing to this nonsense that we're dealing with as a country right now. And on top of that, he was kind of a fucking asshole. That being said, I am not about to go out of my way to disparage a man who I literally just found out died not even 10 minutes ago. But if we're being honest, I don't really care that he's gone.
I don't understand because, like, we've all seen what this person may or may not have done. May have done. What was it about? This person, we've all seen what he has done with his position. And now that he's gone, the world is better.
The world is better. I mean, imagine hearing those words immediately after some news breaks that somebody has died. I mean, normally death is painful, whether expected or is sudden. Yet some people don't respond with sadness. Instead, they respond with some sort of relief, joy or even celebration. Some even say, what's for breakfast? Like, it's a good day. And that raises an important question. Like, what makes people, say or react that way? Well, that says a lot about somebody's lifestyle or somebody's legacy before they die. Now, in this video, we will listen to Black Americans sharing their own thoughts, their own, reactions, their own perspective following the reported death of, this guy, Lindsey Graham. So, yeah, whether you agree or you don't agree with what they are saying, but their reactions simply reveal how they viewed his legacy and the impact they believe his decisions had on their lives. So anyway, let's hear their perspectives in full and then we can understand what exactly are they trying to say. Otherwise, if this is your first time, please subscribe so we can have more of these discussions. I wish you all the best as we dive into this. I'll see you somewhere at the end for more discussion.
On behalf of all my battle buddies who suffer at the hands of Lindsey Graham, you voted for the war in freaking Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm a very angry war veteran. You voted against same-sex marriage. My roommate in freaking Afghanistan, his name was Jason. Jason was gay. Jason was treated like shit because he was gay. On his behalf and on behalf of all the veterans out there who, because of your shitty-ass decisions, they ended up wounded, PTSD, never getting treated. On behalf of all of those veterans, Lindsey Graham, I am so happy that you're looking up at us right now. So happy.
Good morning. Good morning. Especially to those who from or currently live in South Carolina. You know, today is a good day to turn on the grill, put on some barbecue, fish fry, cook some perlo or chicken bog, depending on what part of SC you're from. You can even take a trip to the beach, Myrtle, Charleston beaches, Hilton Head, and just enjoy today with you and your family. And just thank God of all life's simple pleasures. And just enjoy a brand new day in South Carolina.
There are definitely two sugar babies in South Carolina and Washington, D.C. Really sad today that their sugar daddy, Lindsey Graham, has passed away.
Hello. Good morning.
I'm sure these men are being consoled by the other set of Republican gay geriatric men. I'm sure the grinder server in South Carolina can rest easy tonight. I'm sure they can rest easy tonight. You know how you know Lindsey Graham is an old school geriatric old white gay, because they're chaotic and they're problematic. And he said, oh, Mitch McConnell is getting all of this publicity and if people care about Mitch McConnell this much, cool, I'm gonna show y'all something. They keep saying that he died from a mysterious illness. He died from a heart attack because he was getting some D last night from probably a big black man, and it was just too much for him to handle. And he was like, you know what, this is the way I want to go out. My man made it through the entire Pride Month. He lived his best life, like I'm sure he did.
To stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
And he was talking about killing people, coming back to Washington, D.C. so he can talk about killing people. More war, more death, more Israel.
America First is to kill people who wish us ill, to take them off the table.
And he said he was going to go see about Mitch McConnell to see where he was and to see if he's alive.
Mitch McConnell, how is he doing? Have you heard anything?
No, I'm going to go check right now with my office.
Okay.
Hoping and praying he's doing well, but I'm going to check just right now.
Is there a contingency?
I guess you did. I guess you went to the pits of hell to go see where your boy was. So I want to say to you, Lindsey Graham, rest in hell, rest in chaos. I hope you're getting all of the homosexual, gay, anti-Christian, white nationalist, Republican, traditional family dick down wherever you are.
I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes.
All right, guys, happy Sunday.
Oh!
The Trump curse allegedly strikes again. Lindsey Graham died yesterday at 71 years old. And before you say anything, yes, Trump talked to him hours before it happened. Trump confirmed it himself on Meet the Press this morning.
I said, that's a long trip to make. He said, he sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. Had a right to be. And he was a worker. He was really a worker. But he sounded great, actually. But he actually said he was tired. But he wanted to pass the Save America Act. And I said, well, we're going to get it done, Lindsey. We're going to get it done. I'll see you like soon. We thought maybe we might even meet today. And then that was it. And that was, very around the time. It couldn't have been much longer. It could have been his last call. I don't know exactly. But
now, that in and of itself, wouldn't it be weird? It's just, well, Trump also went to the Knicks game, and after winning every game in that series, the moment Trump showed up, they lost. Trump also intervened with the U.S. men's soccer team, and then they lost, and then he talked to Lindsey Graham, and now Lindsey Graham is dead. What I'm saying is, I don't know if all these things are related to one another. Probably not, but if I had $1, every time Trump talked to someone and then something tragic happened, I would definitely have more than $1. Now, it probably had nothing to do with Trump and more to do with the fact that he was 71 years old. And you're probably thinking, wow, 71 years old. He lived a full life, served many years in Congress. He's probably the oldest person in Congress. He's not. Mitch McConnell is older than him at 84 years old, or was 84 years old. I'm not joking when I say is or was, because it's apparently unclear if Mitch McConnell is alive or not. He's been gone and nobody has seen him in public at least in over 3 weeks, and his staff is keeping his medical condition pretty secret. And as an active United States senator, why is that allowed? But why am I asking you guys? Of course, the answer is probably located in my handy dandy Trump Bible. I'll just go search for answers in there.
Lindsey Graham is dead. Mitch McConnell is laid up in a hospital bed somewhere attached to puppet strings like it's the Weekend at Bernie's. And Dookie Booty is online talking about it. He said, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, is dead. He was always working and was a true American patriot. Lindsey will be greatly missed. Details and arrangements to follow. So sad. President Dookie Booty. I just have one question for Satan.
What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Why the fuck is everybody dying except for this motherfucker? Why is he still up, talking, breathing, living to see these motherfuckers go? I don't know what Iran is waiting on, but y'all better follow through with that promise that y'all been making all week. Y'all been saying y'all was gonna get this motherfucker. Do not disappoint us. And to Lindsey Graham,
I wish you well. In hell.
Are you really?
Burn in hell.
The moment a politician dies, something strange happens. Overnight, people stop talking about who they were, and they start talking about who they wish they were. Here's my problem. Respect the dead if you want to, but don't rewrite history. And while everybody's busy writing tributes, we're missing the bigger story. Why are so many leaders in public office in their 70s and 80s? At some point, government stops looking like public service and starts looking like somebody who refuses to give up the driver's seat, even when they can't see the road anymore. And this is not about disrespecting age. I know that wisdom matters. Experience matters. But democracy shouldn't be a museum where the same exhibits stay behind a glass for decades. It should be a living room where every generation has a seat at the table. So here's the question that nobody wants to answer. How old is too old to run the country? I ask because the president's 80, and the average age of a member of Congress is 59 years old. See, if we don't have this conversation, eventually, nature's gonna have the conversation for us.
Graham was fresh off a trip from Kyiv, Ukraine, where he met with President Zelensky when he suddenly fell ill and passed away. At this point in time, there are no details as to what this illness was. However, the man was 71 years old. It don't take much. We could be talking about a heart attack, a stroke, or any number of things. But again, we don't have any details. Now, if you've watched my page for any amount of time, you should know I did not like Lindsey Graham at all. I thought he was one of the main mouthpieces contributing to this nonsense that we're dealing with as a country right now. And on top of that, he was kind of a fucking asshole. That being said, I am not about to go out of my way to disparage a man who I literally just found out died not even 10 minutes ago. But if we're being honest, I don't really care that he's gone. I said the same thing when Charlie Kirk died. How do you want to be remembered? And if you're going to sit there and dedicate your entire life's work to making people miserable and making their lives harder, don't expect to be exalted when you're gone. Now, I know this ain't the news we all wanted to hear, but it's what we got, and beggars can't be choosers. So with that, Mr. Graham, good luck.
Y'all, South Carolina, listen, y'all got to get up, okay? Listen, I know it's early, but they saying Lindsey Graham, he no longer more, okay? They say he done passed away from a sudden illness. I know the residents of South Carolina can rest assured that they ain't got to send their kids off to war anymore, because I remember when he said he was going to ask his constituents to, yeah. Anyways, y'all, he's no longer here anymore, y'all. And his family are asking for our thoughts and our prayers. You got my thoughts. It's not good ones. Yeah, they said that he passed away suddenly, and I'm surprised that they told us so soon, because, you know, they still got Mitch McConnell tiptoeing around that bucket, okay? That man being kicked that bucket, okay? I don't know why they stringing this along for so long. But anyways, Lindsey Graham done passed away. Mitch McConnell, he on his way up out of here, and y'all know they say it comes in threes, okay? Yeah, South Carolina, make sure we give our thoughts and prayers.
Mr. Lindsey Graham, why? You couldn't grant one wish? You couldn't pass it on, Mr. Graham? You know how much we would highly appreciate if you had passed it on this last night and said no. There is somebody else that would that the world would appreciate if they take this, just this one for me. Would I really appreciate it, Mr. Graham? You could have just sent it on. We would really, really, really appreciate it if it was somebody else. It's not that bad. We could have lived with you. You couldn't take one for the team, Mr. Graham? If you know, you know. Yeah? Oh my goodness. You know this, the 12th of July 2026 would be a day of rejoicing? Mr. Graham, you could have just at least, man. Sharing is caring, you know. You couldn't say no. Never pass this one on. Send it over on the other side. Look how Mitch McConnell they as you know, I wait it out. Lindsey, you couldn't wait it out and just send it on and make we, you know, you know, if you know, you know. I know it would be hard, you know. It would just be a day. It would just be a day, Mr. Graham. Bye.
Do you know what I'm not worried about when I die? Millions of people rejoicing. Not because I don't have a national platform. I don't. I'm just some guy with less than 5K followers on a site that a lot of people are growing disenfranchised with. But I know that even if I had a national platform, even if a bunch of people knew about me, even if I had a hand in shaping policy for a nation, as a powerful nation, millions of people, when I died, would not rejoice my death, because I would not spend my life making everyone else's lives miserable. Bad people, sure, I'll spend my life making bad people's lives miserable. But for the majority of people who are not bad people and just people trying to live, I would not use my time on this planet making sure their lives were worse so I could have a better life. I would never, ever do that. So when I see the discourse around celebrating someone's passing, whoever it may be, I don't understand, because like we've all seen what this person may or may not have done. Whatever was about. This person, we've all seen what he has done with his position, and now that he's gone, the world is better. I will speak ill of certain people that are died. That guy who got his, I'm glad he's gone. The world is better. I'm glad that guy is now brain dead, sitting in a hospital somewhere. I wish he'd just move on so we can get his seat filled. But I'm definitely glad this guy is dead. I don't care if this video resurfaces when I start doing political stuff, because I stand so deep in this that you cannot spend your life making everyone's life worse and expect to be sent off into the afterlife with dignity and respect. Absolutely not.
Well, y'all can read, right? MAGA Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has passed away at the age of 71 suddenly. Yes, this is a smile on my face. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I mean, God, we was talking about Mitch and Wiggs, but you know what? A win is a win. And of course, Wiggs R Us has put out a statement. He said, Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, is unalived. He was always working, and he was always true to American patriots. I'm gonna skip over that. He was true to Israel. He said Lindsey will be greatly missed. Details and arrangements to follow. Lindsey Graham served 23 years in his seat as a Republican in North Carolina, okay? He's done some damage to this country. He's worked very hard to make sure that the Republican establishment in the South stayed exactly what it was. And he also fought very hard for Israel. Really hard for Israel. My final words for Lindsey Graham is elevator going down. I mean, we're just waiting on 2 more, maybe 3.
Welcome back. Now, let's talk about it. You see, before we get into these reactions like in full, I mean, there is something that really stands out to me, and we really need to talk about it. You see, when somebody dies, we normally expect people to show some sort of sadness, mourning, and people, sharing condolences, people saying rest in peace. But that is not exactly what we are seeing in these clips. Instead, we are seeing people smiling. We are seeing people making jokes. We are seeing people laughing, and others openly saying the world is now a better place. I mean, come on, we are talking of somebody is dead here. I think that's so surprising. Of course, not also surprising. Depends on how that person, like the lifestyle of that person was. But I think, for now, let's call it surprising. Not because anyone is being told how to feel. No, you can feel the way you want. But because it's so different from what we usually expect when somebody really dies. And like a disclaimer, this video is also not about telling anyone like they are right or they are wrong. No, we're not here to say that. We're not here to silence those who are celebrating. We're not here to silence those who are like having that joyful moment, calling it a day, like, oh, it's a happy day. What's for breakfast? We're not trying to silence those. And we're also not here to disturb those who are mourning. We're not disturbing them. Everyone reacts through the lens of their own experiences. And that's exactly why these videos are getting so much attention. I mean, when somebody passes away, like when they die, the reactions people give often tell you just as much about the relationship they had with that person as they do about the person who died. So if people cry, it usually tells you they believe that that person added something, important, something valuable to their lives. But when people celebrate, laugh, make jokes, I think that also tells you something about the relationship they had, or the legacy, or the lifestyle of that person who has died. But at the very least, it tells you how they personally viewed that person's legacy. So, yeah, one comment really stood out to me. Somebody basically said, this is why it is so important to live well with people while you are still alive. I don't know whether that person is quoting from the Bible, because even the Bible sometimes it says that it's always good to live well with people. But now, that was the comment. Now, whether you agree with that or you don't agree, but I think it's an interesting way of looking at all this. Like, yeah, sometimes this may teach us that it's always good to live well with people. Otherwise, look at the drama which is happening. It's contrary to what people normally expect to see when somebody dies. Because, yeah, your reputation doesn't end when your life ends. You see? You can see this guy is gone, but look at what is happening. And sometimes the conversations you are hearing that happens when you are gone become the biggest reflection of how people experience your life while you were here on earth. Because there are moments that people will not talk until you die. Okay, when you die is when they can talk. Why? They know you cannot sue them. They know you can never take them to court. That why did you say this? Even if what you are saying is true, but they can never come openly to you and say, oh, you did this to us. Why would you say this to me? No. But you may be saying the truth. And again, that's their perspective, not necessarily an objective truth here. Different people can look at the very same individual and come, with completely, different conclusions. Like, oh, he was a good guy. So that's exactly what we are seeing here. Some people are grieving, others are laughing, others are honestly, they don't seem to be not bothered at all. Some are not even going even further, saying things may be not to be, shocking. One person even suggested that they wished somebody else had gone instead. Another joke. I think that's another joke. And another one said, a win is a win. What exactly was the meaning? So whether people agree with those comments or you don't agree with them, but I think they show just how deeply divided opinions can become about public figures. Now, let's look at the 5 biggest reactions, black people are raising in these clips. Reaction number 1, somebody who is like a veteran tried to point out directly to Lindsey Graham's support for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, his argument is that the political decisions made in Washington changed the lives of soldiers forever. Some spoke about the flames, the PTSD, injuries, and sacrifices they believe were ignored. So, from their perspective, their reaction isn't really just about one day. It's about years of pain they connect to those decisions. So that's according to that veteran. And reaction number 2, others are asking whether American politics has become too dependent on leaders in their 70s and 80s, in terms of age. Now, in the video, one creator argued that government should not feel like, people refusing to give up their like their driver seat like it's a good idea. The point wasn't only about one politician like this one who is dead. It was about whether younger generations should have more opportunities to lead. Okay, not you are in 70s, you are 80 years, but you still want to to contest, you still want to be re-elected. So she's looking at that like, yeah, she's dead, of course, but look at it. Why do we have these people in the 70s? Why can't they give these opportunities to fresh minds? Of course, she also tried to say, of course, I know, like, experience matters, like wisdom matters, because we may obviously say the older you are, the more the experience, the more the wisdom after you have gone through a lot of situations in life, rather than somebody who may be in the 20s, in the 30s. But that was also a point of focus that, at least let's look at what exactly is happening. Now, the reaction number 3, in this video, several people focused on Lindsey Graham's broader political record. What about it? Let's talk about it. Now, these people, they brought up issues like, same-sex marriages, foreign policy, and other positions they strongly disagree with. To them, those policies shaped the legacy they are talking about today after this guy has died. And reaction number 4, many of the clips used, dark humor, satire, jokes, like, lest in hell instead of lest in peace, lest in hell. So whether it was just comments about South Carolina, like Mitch McConnell or other political figures that were mentioned in this video, but humor itself became a way for some people to express years of frustration. And finally, reaction number 5, some creators in the video were not celebrating at all, but they also were not pretending to be heartbroken. They're just neutral. I can just say they're that kind of not bothered. And their message was simple. They were not interested in rewriting history just because of somebody had died. Now, in their view, a person's legacy should include both the praise and the criticism that followed them throughout their life. So as we watched these clips, I think we paid attention to different reasons, different reactions, because even when people arrive at similar emotions, they don't always get there for the same reasons. Some people may be laughing for their own reasons. Others will still laugh, but different reasons from other people who are also laughing. Some people may be mourning for their own reasons. We have seen people who may mourn at somebody's funeral, not because they were related or they loved the person, but this person had their money. So they know for sure there is no way they can claim this money back. They have lost money. So they may cry for that money. So there are more reasons people will cry when somebody dies. So here is my disclaimer. I'm not trying to silence those people who are crying. And I'm also not trying to blame those who are celebrating. No. Celebrate if you want. Cry if you want. Because you may have your own perspective. You may have your own reasons why you're doing that. So whatever you choose, I wish you all the best. See you next time. And if this is your first time, please subscribe so we can have more of these discussions. Otherwise, I love that you came and I'm proud of you.